But if you're a startup and you're doing under 500K a month, you need to be aggressive. You need to be dynamic. You need to be flexible. You need to figure out what's working in the fastest way possible, double down on that, scale it, and then once it's predictable, it's scalable, you understand that it's going to be generating revenue month over month, that's when you can start to systemize things. And I think that's one of the benefits of having this kind of corporate chain, is just making sure that the system doesn't break. But you need to be dynamic to build the system. You need to build good margins, good CR, good AOV, and or LTV. If you can already check off those boxes, then you have yourself one hell of a business. If you're trying to get there, then you need a dynamic approach to scale in the fastest way possible. However, these VC corporate investor types can come in, and obviously this is dependent on the team, this is dependent on the investor. They can come in and halter growth, or they can come in, give the right team the freedom to be creative in the beginning, break shit, figure out what works, and then once they have what works and you know why it works, that's when you can start to systemize that particular part of the business. And that's when you're going to get into that 8-figure, 9-figure a year mark that everybody is shooting for. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jordan, and I am the founder of Carbon Box Media. We have grown over 40 plus brands to 7 to 9 figures, and today I'm going to walk you through what I would do to take a D2C business from $0 a month to $500,000 a month, and what patterns I've seen over the years that allow these brands to do just that. Quick little disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about this through the angle of only the D2C side of things. We have a 3PL partner for wholesaling, B2B sales, and inventory, and they can speak on that much, much better than I can. However, that shouldn't deter you from watching this video, because 99.99999% of the time, the D2C market has way better margins because you're not splitting anything and you're not limited to any corporate rules and expectations when they use your products. Still can be a great moneymaker, but I want to be clear that I will not be talking about the B2B side of things, just the D2C side of things for D2C growth. Okay, so there are 3 main ingredients. You should write this down for any good business. These are the base metrics. This is what you need to have to build your base. You don't want to build your house on a sandy hill that's going to deteriorate, that's going to fall. You want to build your house on something firm, strong, stable. And so those healthy base metrics are good margins, good AOV and or LTV, and good CR. So what are these metrics? AOV stands for average order value. So if Joe comes into your site, how much on average does he buy? What is that price point? That's your AOV. LTV stands for lifetime value. Throughout Joe's customer career of your brand, how often does he come back to make a purchase? Think subscription brands or consumables. CR stands for conversion rate. So if 100 people visit your site, how many of them make a purchase? If it's 10 people per 100, your CR is 10%. If it's 3 people per 100, your CR is 3%. These are the foundations of any great business. Bonus one is if you already have a ton of organic traffic coming into your site. This is why it's awesome when influencers start a brand, the organic traffic is completely taken care of. Think of The Rock, think of Kylie Jenner, think of Conor McGregor, think of Logan Paul, KSI. They often behind the scenes have the smallest teams because they don't need to worry about where the traffic's coming from, because they already have this huge audience, and so traffic really isn't a problem. Okay, so before you even start anything, you need a product, and that product needs to have good margins, obviously. From there, since you are brand new and haven't gone to market yet, you need to go to market in order to test how the market reacts to your product. From there, you'll be able to find the 2 other base metrics, your true AOV and CR. A good starter testing ratio is about 5,000 visitors into your site a month. I recommend doing this through small budget meta ads and organic posting rather than using any influencers posting on their page on your behalf. Influencer metrics are metrics you can't track, and we love all metrics here except for the ones you can't track. Once you've had about 15,000 site visitors, you should then have a good idea on what your current AOV and CR are. Depending on your AOV, here's a graph I made that you can use to figure out if you're hitting your ideal conversion rate based on your average order value. So if your AOV is around $10, your CR should be 10%. If it's around $50, your CR should be around 5 to 7. If your AOV is around $100, it should be 3 to 5%. If your AOV is $200, your CR should be 1.5 to 3%. If your AOV is $500, your CR should be 1 to 1.5%. And if your AOV is $1,000 or above, you're probably going to dip under that 1% mark, which is totally fine because you're selling products for $1,000, which makes sense because your product is so high priced. Obviously, if 100 people come into your site it's harder to get somebody to purchase that high ticket item. We love working with high OV brands. I'll get into that in a second, but just these are the metrics that you should use as truth to shoot for. You should try and get as close to these as you possibly can. Keep in mind, and this is what the graph is telling you, that the higher you price your products, the lower your CR will be, and that's okay. This graph shows the natural pattern of CR decreasing based on average order value. Again, I personally love working with brands that have a high AOV. We're working with a bike brand that sells their bikes for over $6,000 and a children's playset brand called Bijou Build that's selling their product for $1K to $1.5K with a 0.6 CR, and we've helped them hit their first ever $200,000 month. And you may be thinking a 0.6 CR, that's horrible. But if you're selling a product for $1.5 thousand, then it makes a whole lot of sense. Something we're doing is shooting for the highest CR we possibly can, and that should be something that you are always doing as well. Side note, if you want to see a testimonial from Amanda, the owner of Bijou Build, you can find that in the description below. If your AOV and CR aren't where they need to be, you should then address what needs to be fixed. Then resume testing until you're at the number you want to be. Well, Jordan, how do I do that? For AOV, if you're a mono product business or you only sell one product with no variations, you can literally just try slightly increasing your price. If you sell multiple products or variations, you can try creating a bundle page that offers the consumer a better deal for them, all while increasing your AOV and maintaining solid margins. For CR, you may need to optimize your website for conversion rate. If you're a mono product business, you can try developing a killer landing page that showcases all the benefits, unique selling points, and even some testimonials from previous customers. We've personally had tremendous success with this. If you sell multiple products, you can create a bundle page of your top sellers and direct potential customers straight to that page. If you have 2 to 3 products that do majority of your sales, so think 40% SKU or above, you should focus on bundling these products together, right? Because that's where people are buying. These are the products that people are purchasing, right? A great way to tackle both these problems, at least in the beginning, is to spy on your competitors that are selling a similar product or are in your niche. But Jordan, my product is unique and there's nobody similar to me. Number one, I call BS. And number two, even if that were true, you can still find similarities in other brands selling a product that have a similar AOV and or customer avatar. Learn from people that are doing things better than you. And then you can put a little your brand twist on it to make it perfect. Once you've improved the above metrics and you're at the number you want to be, it's really time to nail in on some paid acquisition platforms. Where to start? Personally, I always recommend getting started on Meta. To this day, it is still the best target cold traffic to acquire net new customers at a profitable rate acquisition platform there is. If you started with a small budget like before, you should already know what your best performing creatives are. And if you haven't ran any ads in the past and your traffic was coming in organically, it's time to get to testing. Some great creatives that work well in the beginning stage are founder creatives and educational UGCs of you explaining the product. What I mean by founder creative is, hey, my name's Joe. I founded this product. This is my backstory. This is who I am. I'm just like you. Link to buy, right? You can also send your product to some content creators and influencers to have them generate user-generated content as well. If you're running ads, I always recommend reaching out to content creators if you're planning on using the creative to run ads with. Content creators are people that specialize in creating content. And influencers, and I'm just being real with you because we've had this experience in the past, may put in a half-assed job because it may not be completely on brand for them and whatever audience they've built. However, what's important to understand is what may work for another brand, at least creative-wise, may not work with yours. Test photos, test stills, catalogs, UGC, long-form videos, everything you can to see what's generating the highest return. From there, you can act accordingly to generate more content similar to what's working. Okay, super quick side note. I know brands that have spent $40,000 plus to hire a top-of-the-line video production company to come in and film top-of-the-line content. Then, once this brand starts testing some of this sleek, high-quality, top-of-the-line content, they find that it's the photo with the white background that's generating the highest results. So you want to be very unemotional about this. Who cares what's working as long as it is working? Then dissect that and double down. You also need to understand what your target ROAS and KPIs are. ROAS stands for return on ad spend and KPI stands for key performance indicator. For example, if you spend $100, 100 quid, 100 euros, whatever, do you need to make 150 back, 200 back, 500 back? 1,500 back. Create an Excel sheet with all your shipping costs and your COGS. COGS stands for cost of goods sold. To get a true rate of profitability, you need to understand what your break-even point is. So we already have a Google Sheet template that is basically just a fill in your brand's information to understand your COGS type sheet. And it is astounding how many businesses do not know this. So you can download that template in the description. If you like, enter in all of your business's information and just understand where you're currently at, because you need to understand where you're currently at. Okay, so if you sell a physical product, which I'm going to assume that you do sell a physical product, if you sell a digital product, then I don't have to tell you that your margins are pretty dang good. But if you do sell a physical product, you should shoot for anywhere between 1.5x to 3.5x break-even return. So we've worked with brands where we're getting a 17x return on ad spend, but they're only profitable above anything over a 10x. So we're still, making them profit, but a 10x return on ad spend is quite a lot. We've also had to drop a client because we were getting a 10x return month over month, but we found out that they were only profitable above 15x ROAS. That's why we have the COG sheet, because these are not good businesses. And I'm just being real with you. If this is what a profitable return looks like for you, 15x, if you spend $1, you need to make $15 back. If you spend $100, you need to make $1,500 back. That is not a good business. And I'm not saying that you won't be successful with something like that, but just understand that scalability is going to be much more and unnecessarily difficult. Okay, let's talk about how to scale. Once you are acquiring net new customers at a profitable and predictable rate, there are two things you will need to do. And to explain this is a Loom that I filmed just for you guys. So if you're getting a positive return on ad spend, then you need to be able to get a positive return on ad spend, but with more spend. Because for example, 5x with $2,000 in spend and a 5x with $10,000 in spend are two completely different businesses. And so if you start out with a budget of around 2K and you're getting a 5x, how can you scale horizontally where you can maintain that ROAS at that $10,000 spend, $20,000 spend? And guys, just naturally, the more you scale, and this is just what happens 9 out of 10 times. I'm going to talk to you about how you can avoid this. But if you do scale spend, ROAS drops. And people say, why is ROAS dropping every time? We get to this plateau where ROAS, once we spend over $5,000, ROAS just drops and we're not profitable anymore. So we just haven't been able to breach the $5,000, euro, quid, whatever you're spending a month mark and be profitable. Guys, it's because you don't have creative. That's your problem, is you don't have creatives being generated month over month to scale horizontally. Because if you're spending more money, your ads are going to fatigue faster. And yes, you want to find the unicorn creative that can take $80,000 spend and maintain that 6x, 5x, whatever you're shooting for. But if you're going to spend more money, then you need to acclimate to that by having more creatives generated, more creatives being tested. And then you just need a razor sharp media buyer within the account to turn off and turn on campaigns effectively. So that's pretty much how you would scale horizontally. For number 2, test out new platforms. So there's 2 things I'm going to say, and these are going to contradict each other. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. If Meta is... And we love Meta, we love Google, we love all anything that's getting profitable, predictable acquisition, we're a fan of. But if Meta, like iOS 14, crushed businesses, we never know what's going to happen next. And then the second thing I'm going to say is don't fix what's not broken. And so if Meta is getting you the best returns, then it may make sense to allocate 80% of your efforts into, and this is kind of the rule that we use, 80% of your efforts into just scaling one platform as profitable as it could be. And then, because if you're scaling one platform, that means you're going to have more budget to test out other platforms. And the 20% that I was talking about can get allocated to testing TikTok ads, right? YouTube Shorts ads. If the most natural progression for us is to start with meta ads and then have the Google ad conversation where we just start running like maybe a branded campaign just to make sure you're owning your digital real estate. But once you have enough traffic coming in, and this is going to depend on your organic traffic coming in, it may be time to start doing Google. And Google can be an acquisition platform itself, especially with some of the negative keyword bidding for some of these smaller brands. But it really depends on your niche, and it really depends on how much organic traffic is already coming into your store. The good thing is with meta ads is you have a ton of paid traffic coming into your store, so that really helps. But I would say Google is the most natural, just kind of low budget next step. If you're getting, if you're spending 2, 3, 4K a month and you're getting profitable returns and you're trying to scale Meta, Google's really going to help you. Think about it this way. Meta is great for capturing brand awareness, or Meta is great for generating brand awareness. Google is great for capturing brand awareness. And so just keep that in mind. And this is again different, I'm just going to generalize here. Once you're at about 5K a month and spend on Meta profitably, and you're allocating about 2K a month on Google, 3K a month on Google, that's when brands really, really, really start to scale. Really start to scale because you have enough budget on Google to be acquiring net new customers at a profitable rate, dive into new keywords, new markets. And with Meta, we focus 90% of our campaigns, probably even 95% of our campaigns on just net new customer acquisition, cold audience. How can we acquire net new customers at a profitable rate? So yeah, and so just the 20%, if you're doing Google, if you didn't know this, Google owns YouTube, so you can do YouTube Shorts. And so if you have a particular ad creative UGC style video on Meta that's crushing it, you can test that on Google. And the CPMs with YouTube Shorts are very, very low. So if you spend $1, in the example, right? If you spend $1 on Meta to get a click, you spend 30 cents to 20 cents on YouTube Shorts to get a click. Now, I will say YouTube Shorts is really great for net new customer acquisition, but you're not going to see the ROAS you're going to see on Meta 9 times out of 10, right? YouTube Shorts is still trying to figure out how they can compete with Meta, but right now, if you're looking to get cheap CPMs, it's incredibly good. TikTok, kind of the same story with CPMs, but guys, if you can crack the code with Meta ad creatives that are generating positive returns month over month, you throw those bad boys in TikTok, you throw those bad boys in YouTube Shorts, you're already sailing with the wind, not against the wind, right? You already know what's working. And these are 3 different beasts, Meta, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. So they got to be different. But it definitely helps to test out a new platform once you already have a proof of concept of what works, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so if you're at the point where it is time for you to start thinking about migrating into new platforms, I just want to say this stage is what we specialize in. So feel free to book a call with me in the description below. I also want to point out that at this stage, you will have accumulated quite a bit of emails. So I recommend getting Klaviyo, however you want to call it, and just making sure that you have some drip sequences set up, such as welcome emails, abandoned cart, SMS, email drips, just your basic email marketing setup. This is very powerful stuff, and the best retargeting there is on the market is without a doubt email. We specialize in Klaviyo as well, but I recommend watching YouTube University videos and just setting this up yourself in the beginning so you can learn the ropes of the platform and capture the traffic that you've already built. You don't want any potential purchases slipping through the cracks. So once you're at around 800 emails, and this is a very low estimate, but it may be time for you to start thinking about hiring a professional to help you with this. Speaking of professionals, ask yourself what your goal is. So I actually filmed another Loom going over this in great detail. So I'm going to play that right now. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of spitball this, but once you have marketing, it's working more or less. You just want to scale. You need to ask yourself what your goal is. And that goal needs to be, $100,000 a month, first 8-figure year. But as you sort of break out of like startup phase, we're firm believers in that you need to specialize in one certain thing to grow your business in the best way. And you need to hire professionals who specialize in one other certain thing to help grow their business in the best way. So For example, Amanda with Bijou Build is an insanely good product designer. She's built a quality product with insanely good margins, and she's just trying to make the product better, keep up with 3PL, manufacturing, et cetera, et cetera. And she's like, I don't have time for marketing. I need people that specialize in marketing that I trust that can grow this thing. And kind of funny, we're putting together 2 case studies of brands where we manage everything and brands where we're only managing 1 or 2 platforms, and just how much faster we can grow everything if we manage everything, or how fast we can grow, how much faster we can grow the brands if we do manage everything, and how delayed some of these brands are. They get better results, they do, but long-term growth, it's just a little bit more delayed because there's lag time naturally. So once you start to get overwhelmed, and you will get overwhelmed once you start to scale, and I'm talking about diving in the new platform, scaling your meta account horizontally, figuring out Klaviyo, however you want to say it, just asking yourself, all right, when is the time for me to hire a professional that I trust to source this out? And guys, hiring somebody that's professional is difficult. And I can speak to that because an e-commerce owner or a brand owner looking to hire an email specialist, I go through the same thing. I have to hire an email specialist that I know crushes, so I can take that person's skill to your brand, right? I've hired and fired so many people to build the all-star team that we have today. And so if you want to go down the Upwork route, the LinkedIn route, the hiring route, the hire, fire, they're going to be on a W-2 or they're going to be on a 1099. How do I know if this is working or not? And especially if you have an above surface level understanding of these platforms, great. But you need somebody who is, here's what I'm trying to say. You need somebody to do something 110% well across the board. You don't want an email marketer who knows how to run Facebook ads and has ran Google ads and is like running Google ads for 3 clients and doing Facebook ads for 2 clients. And you want an email marketer who fucking specializes in email marketing. That's what you want. Somebody that can crush it for email. You want a meta ad specialist who can fucking crush it for meta ads. You want a creative specialist who understands meta ads, understands TikTok ads, understands what's working, can transfer that into hiring content creators to get more content based on that, because that's the ecosystem that's going to grow. For Google ads, you don't want a Google guy who has, again, same example, who's running Facebook ads for 3 accounts and does Google ads for 5 accounts. That's not a specialist. That's a generalist. It's a generalized specialist for, you know what I'm saying? Think of any sports team, baseball, the pitcher, you want the pitcher on shortstop. Let's talk soccer because that's the best example. You want the goalkeeper a striker? Hell no. You want the big tall dude who's great with his hands and can jump to save a shot. You want the winger who's fast and can dribble and can juke to beat the defender and create an opportunity. You want the striker who's good at shooting to play striker. You don't want him to play defense. You want the defender who's good at defending to play defense. That's how you build a solid team. And learning to work in synchronicity, that's the challenge that so many businesses run into. And so that's why I've built this agency to the point where it is and again, this is going to go back to my case study, we grow brands so much faster because you're hiring a team. You're not just hiring a pitcher. You're not just hiring a winger. You're not just hiring a defender. You're hiring the whole team to get you there. So with all that being said, I'm a big fan of you outsourcing your marketing to professionals who specialize in growing companies like yours. It can be a nightmare, and I'm not asking you to trust me, but we have a pretty gosh dang good track record. But just do your research. And I just want you to be aware that if you hire individuals for each role in the beginning, that's okay. It's better than nothing. But long term, you need to have a brain in that's working towards, or everything's working towards that brain. Everything's working towards, or the brain is controlling everything that's working towards that one goal, which should be positive MER. Also, you may be thinking, well, yeah, I'll just hire full-time employees. Yeah, totally. You can. I think the benefit of hiring an agency is you are hiring a full-time team. Well, at least with us, you are hiring a full-time team, but for a fraction of the cost. Go look at the average salary of a meta ad specialist for any 8-figure company. Go look at the email marketing salary. If you're in the startup stage, good luck, and I mean that with complete respect, but that's just a poor choice of investment. And you may be thinking, well, my friend son just graduated with a marketing degree. Good. Test him out. See how that goes. You're going to lose spend. That guy has no experience, or girl has no experience. The benefit of an agency is you're hiring a team of experts that's, at least with us, that specialize in their craft, and they're the best at what they do. And you don't have to pay a full-time salary per platform. You have to pay a month-over-month fee that's a fraction of the cost of what it would be to hire a full team that specializes in growing your company and can scale you in the fastest way possible. I mean, it's such a no-brainer. And the reason why we have problems in this industry is because there's so many agencies out there. There's so many, those marketing majors. They're like, okay, I got my marketing degree. I'm going to start an agency. And they're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. You need an agency that has experience, that has proof of concept, that has thousands of case studies. That's what's going to grow you. You need to specialize. Outsource your marketing to somebody you trust. I'd go for an agency. You need to focus on the growth of the company. Where are things manufactured? Can you predictably have inventory? How can you increase your margins while maintaining quality? Are you looking to dive into the foreign market within the next year? You need to not worry about marketing. You need to understand that marketing is getting taken care of by a team of professionals, but you need to ask yourself, okay, I need to focus on the business. What do I specialize in? I've created this awesome product. What are going to be the best next steps for me? That aren't marketing. Marketing's taken care of. Marketing's focused. I'm still going to talk with the guys, still going to check in on them, make sure everything's going smoothly. Are there any sales coming up, seasonality, et cetera, et cetera? But you need to focus on just how you can improve the brand, the company, the products, right? That's what you need to focus on. You need to focus on the business. So ask yourself, what do you want to specialize in? That's it. It's up to you to allocate new talent so you can focus on higher leverage activities. And it's up to your marketing team to tell you what new platform makes the most sense to get into, or what makes the most sense for scale. CR improvement. Do we need to get into TikTok? Do we need to do a complete site revamp? I'm being a little extreme here, but it's up to your marketing team to tell you what the biggest bottlenecks are and where the most opportunity lies. CR, TikTok, Pinterest, Bing ads, spend more money on Google, double down on Meta, whatever is working, that's up to your marketing team to tell you. So again, you can focus on higher leverage activities. So one last thing I want to say before I end this video is you need to have a really solid 3PL partner on your side. We have a really great connection if we do end up working together, but you need to make sure that inventory is there. Your 3PL partner should not only help you with inventory, but they should also be helping you with your B2B wholesaling side of sales. If your inventory is there, then you won't run out of stock. And the marketer can only grow a business that has products in stock. Yes, we can do pre-sale campaigns, but let's think about a customer's journey. Let's think about the customer's lifetime value. If somebody goes to purchase one of your best-selling products and it's going to be out of stock for 3 months and they buy it, and it's not going to be delivered to them for 3 months, that's going to leave a really, really poor taste in their mouth. So with Bijou Build, we hit their first $100,000 month in February. Then we hit their first $200,000 month in March. And so you may be thinking, oh, April, we may have hit their first $300,000 month, $400,000 month. Yes, we are on track to hit $370,000 in April. However, we had to lower our ad spend and switch completely to pre-sales. Why? Because she ran out of stock. And so having a really, really solid 3PL partner to make sure that this doesn't happen, and inventory can be a huge bottleneck in regards to scaling, is going to be key for you to grow to $500,000 a month in the fastest way possible. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Really appreciate you. If you have a question about anything, feel free to drop it in the comment. If you like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, just have a simple conversation about what the best next step for your business is to get it more profitable than what it's currently at. I'd love to have that conversation. You can find the link below in the description.